I guess we want to talk more about the OBJ thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't want to be too hard on him. I understand you're trying to secure Rob G. money for your future. It was unfortunate. He was playing well in the Super Bowl last year for the Rams when he got hurt.
He would have been the MVP.
He was looking like it at that point. Am I right?
Absolutely.
He was. But I don't know. This sign me, I want to be recruited tour, social media, Jerry Jones fawning over him. What was that? It bothered me a little bit in that I don't understand why he would, and Randy Mueller, our former NFL Executive of the Year, he gave us a little insight that they want the medicals from him, Rob G.
Yep.
Which is fine, but then I wouldn't have made it so public.
Exactly.
Right? Like you can come visit. Do not tweet anything about it. Do not, we don't want to do that because this is a fact-finding showing or like a fact-finding. We want to find out where you are, where your head is, could you help us? When can you help us? But to make it so public, it sounded like, tell me if I'm wrong, like his signing was imminent and he was going to play this year. That's what it felt like going into the tour.
Yep. And I agree with you. The whole thing kind of rubbed me the wrong way because, and I said it in the first hour about Kawhi Leonard, where he says, I don't want to be here for the regular season. I'm only worried about the postseason. And then Odell Beckham Jr., who's coming off a major knee injury, goes on the shop and says, I don't think it's worth it to me to play in the regular season. I'm only worried about the postseason. And the one thing I will give Kawhi Leonard credit in this situation as it compares to Odell is Kawhi at least has leverage, right? The Clippers gave up everything to get him in town.
Oh, no doubt. And he got a big contract.
And he got a huge contract. He has them, over a barrel, so to speak.
They're all in. They have to be.
Exactly. Odell Beckham Jr. doesn't have any leverage, right? He looked great in the Super Bowl, but during the regular season, it was Cooper Kupp's show in Los Angeles. Odell Beckham Jr. hasn't been all caps OBJ in 4 or 5 years, Rob? Where you'd say, oh, that guy is easily, a top 2 or 3 wide receiver in the NFL.
And we get it. He had a resurgence with the Rams, right? He came back. So people are looking at it, but he's not the number one receiver.
No, he's not.
He's not there.
And so why then would you think that you can dictate the terms like this? You're a free agent. You can go wherever you want. I get it. You want to go to the best situation. But to have an LSU-style recruiting tour where Von Miller is campaigning for you after the games in Buffalo, the Dallas Cowboys did a full court press for like a week and a half with Zeke and Dak, and Micah Parsons took him to a Mavs game and all these different things. You're meeting with all these different clubs, knowing full well you're not going to turn over your medicals, or you don't want to at least. You have no intention of playing in the regular season. And you're asking them to buy something sight unseen for next season as well. It's like, where do you get the gall to think that you can dictate it to that extent? I don't understand.
I agree. I don't think, and NFL teams, they're not. Look at what they picked up. They wanted another receiver. What they pick up? Hilton and who else? And Beasley came out of retirement. So
that should tell you all you need to know.
Right. It ain't like all these guys are laying around. And if they wanted to use you or get you, but you had to be ready to play.
And to be honest, Rob, if I'm the Cowboys, and I know that they've kind of botched this whole thing from the beginning, but I don't blame them for saying we'd rather take the sure thing in T.Y. Hilton, where we've seen his medicals, we've seen him work out. It's a low-risk deal. If he works out this season, great. If not, it is what it is. Whereas with Odell, he's asking you to go out on a limb in such a way that if it doesn't work out and he's not fully back from his ACL injury, then not only are you on the hook for this season where you're putting him in the playoffs, where these games mean a hell of a lot more than the regular season, obviously, and you're asking him to perform at the highest level on the biggest stage, but you're on the hook for next season on a team that's already cash-strapped with the way their books are set up.
Yeah.
So I understand taking a less talented, so to speak, guy in T.Y. Hilton, but understanding the situation rather than taking a big risk with OBJ.
And the other one is, I never believed that he was interested in the Giants. Like, that was to try to drive the price up, to get people. First of all, Danny Nickels or Pennies, whatever you want to call him, Danny Dimes, is not the quarterback you want throwing to you, right? That's number one. And the way that they treated him on the way out of New York, do you think he was going back to the Giants?
I never thought he was going to the Giants. I was honestly surprised that we didn't hear more chatter about the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Packers, because he picked the Rams over the Packers last year, I think that's the sour. They kind of, you know what I mean? Like, he picked them last year. Now he got hurt. Now he wants to come, like.
Right.
I think that's why, even though God knows they need receivers, it's going to be interesting to see how this last 4 games play out. The Packers had a bye this past week, and where they are. They got 4 winnable games, right? I think they really do. So this will be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out.
Yeah, and if you're the Packers, I mean, I know that it's an uphill battle to say the least, but all you got to do is win the first game, which is against the Baker Mayfield-led Rams on Monday Night Football.
Right.
If they take care of business the way that we expect them to, you're going to get a lot of conversation. Well, it's like, hey, you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
Do they run the table?
Exactly.
Right? And we've been seeing the 13-win regular season Packers. This could be you back your way in, Rob G, and then maybe that it's not. No expectations. Nobody expects anything, and then maybe they could somehow, some way run the table. We'll see. I mean, there's a long way to go, but there's 4 weeks to go indeed for that. All right.